The rusty relic dust swirled on Route 17 as an old Ford truck rattled along, its faded green paint chipped, no plates in sight. Behind the wheel, Amos Carter, 78, gripped the steering with weathered hands, his flannel shirt worn thin. He was heading home from buying lumber for a community garden fence, a favor for his neighbor. Red and blue lights flashed in his rearview. Amos sighed, pulling over smoothly, hands steady at 10 and 2.2 officers approached, boots crunching gravel. Officer Tate, young and cocky, smirked. No tags, huh? Driving a junkyard escapee? His partner, Officer Wells, chuckled, circling the truck. Got a license, Pops, or just stories? Amos's gray eyes stayed calm. License is in my wallet. Truck's mine since '72. He handed over his ID, voice low. Tate scoffed. Retired, huh? From what? Hauling scrap. Amos didn't flinch, though the jab stung. The truck's dents held secrets, missions in deserts, jungles, places erased from maps. Tate tapped the hood. Step out. This thing's not road legal. Amos complied, slow but deliberate, his boots firm on the ground. Wells smirked. What's in the back? Stolen goods? Amos nodded at the lumber. For a garden fence. Mrs. Larson's place. Tate laughed. Sure it is. They made him empty his pockets, keys, a faded photo, a brass coin etched with a unit crest. What's this, your lucky charm? Wells tossed it back. Amos caught it gently, tucking it away. Sit on the curb, Tate ordered. Amos lowered himself, ignoring the ache in his knees. A small crowd gathered, phones out. The officers didn't know who they'd stopped. Not yet. The weight of silence. Amos Carter sat on the curb, the midday sun baking the asphalt. His old Ford truck loomed behind him, its dents glinting like battle scars. Officer Tate scribbled notes, sneering. No registration, no plates. This heap's a hazard. Officer Wells leaned against the cruiser, radio crackling. Got anything to say, old man? Amos's gaze stayed fixed on the horizon, steady as ever. It's legal. Historical vehicle status. His voice was quiet, deliberate. Tate laughed. Historical? Looks like it belongs in a museum. Wells smirked, kicking a tire. Bet it's not even insured. Amos didn't argue. He'd learned long ago that words rarely swayed the stubborn. His fingers traced the brass coin in his pocket, etched with Task Force 141. A relic from missions that never made headlines. A crowd grew, shopkeepers, a jogger, kids on bikes. Phones recorded, whispers spread. He's just an old guy, one teen muttered. A woman, Mrs. Larson, pushed forward. That's Amos. He's building my garden fence for free. Tate waved her off. Ma'am, step back. This is protocol. Amos's knees ached, but he sat straight, unyielding. He'd endured worse, sandstorms in Iraq, frostbite in the Balkans. The officers searched his truck, tossing lumber aside. What's this, your carpentry hobby? Wells scoffed, finding a toolbox etched with faded initials, AC inside, a folded flag, never unfurled. Stand up, Tate ordered. Amos rose slowly, his frame wiry but strong. Hands behind you. They patted him down, finding only the photo, a young Amos with a unit, all grinning under a desert sky. Tate snorted. War games, huh? Amos said nothing. Across the street, a gas station clerk dialed a number, voice low. You won't believe who they've got. The crowd hushed. Something was coming. Whispers in the heat. The sun scorched Route 17 as Amos Carter stood by his truck, hands loose at his sides. Officer Tate flipped through Amos's worn photo, smirking. You and your buddies play soldier back in the day? Officer Wells chuckled, tossing a wrench from the toolbox back into the truck bed. Probably a weekend warrior. Amos's face stayed stone, betraying nothing. He'd faced worse than mockery, interrogations in places where silence meant survival. The crowd swelled, phones capturing every move. Mrs. Larson lingered, fists clenched. "He's a good man, officers. Leave him be." Tate rolled his eyes. "Ma'am, we're doing our job." A kid whispered to his mom, "Why's he so calm?" Amos heard but didn't react. His calm wasn't surrender, it was control, honed over decades. Wells checked the radio. "No warrants, but this truck's sketchy. Might tow it." Tate nodded, scribbling tickets. "Expired registration, unsafe vehicle." "That's a grand, easy." Amos spoke softly. "Check the county records. It's exempt." Tate laughed. "Exempt? You hear this guy?" They ignored him, circling the Ford like vultures. Each dent told a story they couldn't read: shrapnel in Kuwait, a crash in Somalia. The glovebox held a faded commendation, unsigned for secrecy. Amos didn't mention it. He'd never needed to prove himself. A passing driver slowed, recognizing Amos's truck. "That's Carter," he muttered, texting a friend in uniform. At the gas station, the clerk's call connected. "Colonel, it's Pete. They've got Amos Carter on Route 17, cuffed like a crook." A pause, then a sharp reply. "On my way." The crowd murmured as Amos sat again, uncomplaining. A girl dropped her ice cream, staring. "Is he in trouble?" Her dad shrugged. "Looks like it." Then, tires crunched gravel. Something big was near. The black SUV. Amos Carter leaned against his Ford, the crowd's murmurs blending with the hum of Route 17. Officer Tate smirked, handing Amos 3 tickets. "No plates, unsafe rig, pay up or lose it." Officer Wells nodded. "Could impound it now." Amos tucked the tickets into his pocket, unruffled. "You're making a mistake," he said, voice like gravel. Tate scoffed. "Yeah? Tell it to the judge, Grandpa." The truck's shadow stretched long, its bed still holding lumber for Mrs. Larson's fence. Each board was measured by Amos's hands, calloused from building homes after floods, clinics in war zones. He didn't mention it. Never had. The crowd edged closer, sensing tension. A team filmed, captioning, "Cops vs. Old Dude, Drama." Mrs. Larson called out, "He's no criminal." Wells waved her off. "Back up, lady." Amos's brass coin gleamed faintly in his palm, unnoticed by the officers. It wasn't just a trinket, it marked a life of orders followed, lives saved. Tate noticed the crowd's phones. "Uncooperative," he muttered into the radio. "Possible escalation." Amos heard, unmoved. He'd stared down worse: snipers, sandstorms, split-second calls. A low rumble cut through the noise. Heads turned. A black SUV with tinted windows and government plates rolled up, precise, deliberate. The crowd hushed. Tate's smirk faded. "Feds?" Wells whispered, straightening. The driver's door stayed shut, but the rear opened slowly. Boots hit gravel. A tall figure emerged, for stars glinting on his shoulders. "Who's in charge here?" General Marcus Hayes barked, eyes scanning. Tate stammered, we." Hayes cut him off, striding toward Amos. The crowd froze, phones raised. Amos stood taller, a flicker of recognition in his gaze. Hayes stopped short, voice low. "You stopped the wrong man today." The air shifted. Something big was breaking. A general's shadow. The black SUV loomed on Route 17, its presence silencing the crowd. General Marcus Hayes stood tall, for stars blazing under the sun. Officer Tate clutched his clipboard, voice shaky. "Sir, we were just..." Hayes raised a hand, eyes locked on Amos Carter. "You have no idea who this is," he said, each word a hammer. Officer Wells shifted, sweat beading. Amos stood quiet, his old Ford behind him, unchanged. Hayes turned to Amos. "Permission to speak freely, Sergeant Major?" Amos nodded, a faint smile breaking. "Granted, Marcus." The crowd gasped. "First names with a general?" Tate's jaw dropped. Wells whispered, "Sergeant Major?" Hayes faced the officers. "This man led me through hell at Fort Bragg, '89. Saved my unit in Desert Storm." Amos's truck, rusted and worn, suddenly seemed more than scrap. It had carried ammo through gunfire, medics to the wounded. The crowd leaned in, phones rolling. Mrs. Larson whispered, "I knew he was special." A kid asked, "Is he famous?" His mom shushed him, riveted. Hayes's aide stepped forward, holding a file. "Amos Carter, Task Force 141. 3 silver stars, classified ops, records sealed until 2060. Tate blinked, tickets trembling in his hand. "We didn't know, sir." Hayes's voice sharpened. "You didn't ask." Amos stayed silent, his photo of a young unit tucked safely away, faces he'd never forget. The general knelt by Amos, lowering his voice. "You okay?" Amos shrugged. "Fine. They're young." Hayes stood, glaring at the officers. "This truck? It's Army history. Exempt from your rules." Wells stammered, "Paperwork issue, sir." Hayes pointed. "Fix it." A woman in the crowd called out, "Amos built my porch after the tornado." Another voice added, "He feeds the shelter." The officers shrank. Hayes saluted Amos. The truth was out. The crowd's awakening. Route 17 buzzed as General Hayes stood beside Amos Carter, the old Ford truck a quiet monument. Officer Tate's face flushed, tickets now crumpled in his fist. Officer Wells stared at the ground, radio silent. The crowd, nearly 50 strong, pressed closer, phones capturing every word. "He's a hero," a teen whispered, video streaming live. Mrs. Larson nodded. "Always was." Hayes's voice carried. "Amos Carter ran point in Somalia, '93, saved 12 men under fire. Trained SEALs at 60. He gestured to the truck. This Ford hauled supplies through Kabil's worst." The crowd murmured, piecing it together. Amos's flannel hid scars, his silence hid valor. Tate muttered, "We thought," Hayes cut in. "You thought wrong." Amos spoke, soft but firm. "They followed rules, Marcus. Rules aren't always judgment." Hayes nodded, respect deepening. The crowd saw it, a general learning from the man he saluted. A nurse called out, "Amos fixed our clinic's roof last summer." A vet added, "He taught my son to fish." Each voice built Amos's legend. Tate stepped forward, voice low, "Sir, I'm sorry. Truly." Amos met his eyes. "Apologize to the next guy you stop, son. Not me." The crowd hushed, phone steady. Wells cleared his throat. "We'll void the tickets." Hayes handed Tate the file. "Read this. Unclassified parts. Know who you're dealing with." A girl tugged her dad's sleeve. "He's like a superhero, right?" Her dad smiled. "Better. He's real." Across the street, the gas station clerk grinned, his call to Hayes paying off. Social media lit up, #AmosCarter trending, clips of Hayes's salute spreading fast. The officers stood smaller now, dwarfed by truth. Amos glanced at his truck, lumber still waiting for Mrs. Larson's fence. The crowd wasn't dispersing. They wanted more, not of Hayes, but of him. Ripples of respect. The sun dipped on Route 17, casting Amos Carter's truck in a golden glow. General Hayes stood firm, his aide clutching Amos's file. Officer Tate flipped through it, eyes widening at citations, Kuwait, Bosnia, a hostage rescue in '87. Officer Wells looked away, shame settling in. The crowd, now thick with locals, buzzed with awe. Phones recorded, but some lowered, respect replacing clicks. Misses. Larson broke the silence. Amos rebuilt our church steps after the fire. Never asked for a dime. A mechanic added, he fixed my dad's old tractor, free. Each story painted Amos larger, his quiet life a tapestry of service. A teen posted, this guy's a legend. #respect Amos. Views climbed, 2 million already. Hayes faced the officers. This isn't about tickets. It's about seeing people. Amos nodded slightly, his brass coin tucked away, its weight grounding him. He'd never sought spotlight, it found him anyway. Tate swallowed. We'll make this right, sir. Amos spoke, voice steady. Right's not for me. It's for them. He nodded at the crowd. A woman pushed forward, tears in her eyes. You carried my brother out of a flood, Mr. Carter. 98, Amos tipped his cap. Just did what was needed. The crowd stirred, some clapping, others wiping eyes. Hayes's aide whispered, he's still teaching us. Hayes agreed, saluting again. Wells radioed the station. Cancel the tow. Truck's clear. Tate handed back Amos's photo, careful now. Didn't mean disrespect. Amos pocketed it. Learn fast, you'll do fine. The crowd cheered softly, sensing closure. Posts flooded online, clips of Amos's calm, Hayes's fire. A diner owner vowed free coffee for Amos forever. The general stepped back, letting Amos shine. The truck's engine waited, ready. Route 17 felt different now, alive with purpose. The town's turning point. Route 17 glowed under dusk, Amos Carter's Ford truck a silent anchor. General Hayes lingered, his SUV idling nearby. Officer Tate clutched Amos's file, its weight humbling him. Officer Wells faced the crowd, voice unsteady. We messed up. Won't happen again. The crowd, 60 deep, nodded, some filming, others murmuring approval. Amos stood by his truck, flannel sleeves rolled, eyes calm. A boy ran up, holding a soda. For you, Mr. Carter. Amos smiled, taking it. Thanks, kid. The gesture sparked more, folks shared stories. He mowed my lawn after chemo, a woman said. Taught my class first aid, a teacher added. Each tale lit up social media, #Amos Carter posts hit 5 million views. Clips of Hayes's speech looped endlessly. Misses. Larson gripped Amos's arm. You're our glue. He shrugged. Just a neighbor. Hayes overheard, chuckling. Always humble, Sergeant Major. He turned to Tate. Your department gets this file. Train with it. Tate nodded, earnest now. Yes, sir. A reporter arrived, mic ready. Mr. Carter, your story's national. Amos waved her off. Story's not mine. It's theirs. He pointed to the crowd, vets, kids, workers. The reporter pivoted, filming Hayes, who said, Amos wrote tactics we still use. Night raids, extractions, his work saved thousands. The crowd gasped, phones capturing every word. Wells approached Amos. Can I help with that fence? Amos studied him, then nodded. Dawn tomorrow. Don't be late. The crowd laughed, tension easing. Online, donations poured in, $50,000 for Amos's projects. He'd redirect it, folks knew, to fences, clinics, vets. A sign went up, Amos Carter Way. Tate saluted awkwardly. Amos returned it, crisp. Hayes climbed into his SUV, leaving Amos the stage. The truck's keys jingled. Route 17 waited, forever changed. Legacy in motion. Twilight settled over Route 17, bathing Amos Carter's Ford in soft light. The crowd, now a community, lingered, their faces glowing with pride. General Hayes's SUV pulled away, leaving Amos by his truck, keys in hand. Officer Tate stood nearby, clutching Amos's file like a lifeline. Officer Wells offered a handshake. "I'll be there tomorrow, sir." Amos gripped it firmly. "Good. Bring coffee." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Mrs. Larson hugged Amos. "You're unstoppable." He tipped his cap. "Just stubborn." Phones still filmed, but many pocketed them, choosing presents over posts. Online, #Amos Carter soared, 10 million views, stories flooding in. "He rebuilt my shed, saved my dog in '04. Each post cemented his quiet legend. A vet in a wheelchair rolled up. "You trained my CO, Carter. Kept us alive." Amos knelt, voice low. "You'd have done the same." The man saluted, eyes wet. The crowd saw it. Amos wasn't just theirs, he was everywhere. Donations hit $100,000, earmarked for vet homes, per Amos's wish. Tate spoke up, voice clear. "We're starting a program, Veteran Respect Training. Your name's on it." Amos raised a brow. "Better not be." The crowd chuckled, but Tate pressed on. "It's right, sir." Wells nodded, already drafting ideas. A girl pinned a flower to Amos's flannel. "You're my hero." He smiled, rare and warm. The reporter lingered, broadcasting live. Amos Carter, the man who turned a traffic stop into a movement. Amos ignored her, checking his lumber. Social media buzzed, clips of his calm, Wells's handshake, the vet's salute. A plaque was planned, "Honor starts here." Tate vowed every rookie would know Amos's story. Amos climbed into his truck, engine rumbling. The crowd parted. He wasn't done, not yet. The road ahead. Amos Carter's Ford growled to life on Route 17, its rumble a heartbeat for the crowd. Stars emerged above, framing the old truck's silhouette. Officer Tate stood straighter, Amos's file tucked under his arm. Officer Wells waved, a promise to meet at dawn. The crowd, 70 strong, clapped softly. No phones now, just respect. Mrs. Larson whispered, "He's our compass." Amos leaned out the window. "Fence won't build itself. Get some rest." Laughter broke the hush, warm and real. He eased forward, lumber clinking in the bed. Posts online surged, #Amos Carter at 15 million, stories endless. "He fixed my roof, taught me to shoot." Donations topped $200,000, all for vet ramps, shelters, hope. A kid ran alongside, yelling, "You're awesome, Mr. Carter." Amos tipped his cap, eyes crinkling. The vet in the wheelchair saluted again, joined by others. Tate called out, "Program starts Monday, sir. Your way." Amos nodded, no words needed. Wells jotted notes. Training would change Amos's story its core. The reporter's voice faded behind. A traffic stop became a reckoning, thanks to Amos Carter. National news picked it up, headlines blazed, "General defends unsung hero." A mayor declared Amos Carter Day. The plaque gleamed, "Honor starts here, Route 17." Every cop car now carried Amos's unclassified file. Social media roared, clips of the salute, Amos's calm, the crowd's cheers. Tate volunteered at the VFW, Wells joined him, earning slow trust. Amos drove on, same flannel, same truck. He'd build that fence, then another, maybe a ramp. When a vet passed, his Ford would carry the flag-draped coffin, no family needed. Route 17 shone under moonlight. Cruisers saluted as Amos passed, not stopping him, never again. The truck rolled home, carrying history, duty, and a man who'd always serve.